Right now, somewhere in the world, a grown man is crying because a ball went into the wrong net. His entire week is ruined. He cannot eat properly, he is fighting with strangers on the internet about a referee's decision, and then there is you, sitting quietly, wondering why everyone around you loses their mind over a game. If that sounds like you, your brain is doing something very different, and honestly, science has a lot to say about it. Let me be very clear from the start. If you do not care about sports, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not cold, you are not weird, you are not missing some important part of being human. But there is a real and interesting reason why your mind works the way it does. And once you understand it, you will never feel guilty about skipping another Super Bowl party again. So first, let us understand why sports even matter to so many people. Why do billions of humans across the planet organize their entire lives around watching other people play games? The answer goes back thousands of years. Early humans lived in small groups. If you were alone, you were dead. Simple as that. You needed your group to survive. You needed to know who was on your side and who was not. That instinct never went away. It just changed shape. Today, sports teams have replaced ancient tribes. When someone says, "I am a Manchester United fan," or "I bleed for the Cowboys," they're not just talking about a hobby. They're announcing their tribe. Their brain is doing something very old and very powerful. It is creating a sense of belonging. And belonging feels good, really good. The brain releases chemicals that make you feel safe, connected, and happy when you feel like part of a group. But here's the thing, not everyone needs that. Some people build their sense of belonging in completely different ways, through friendships, through family, through work, through hobbies that have nothing to do with competition. These people are not broken. Their need for connection is just satisfied through different channels. Now, let's talk about what's actually happening inside the brain. When a sports fan watches a close game, their brain goes through a roller coaster. Heart rate goes up, palms get sweaty, stress hormones start pumping, and when their team scores, there's a rush of feel-good chemicals. It's the same kind of rush you get from winning a bet or getting a surprise gift. The brain loves uncertainty followed by reward. It's one of the most powerful loops in human psychology. People who do not care about sports simply don't get that rush from watching a game. Their brain does not treat a goal or a touchdown as a personal victory. And this is not a choice. You can't force yourself to feel excited about something your brain does not respond to. Some researchers believe this has a lot to do with your genetics. The way your brain handles reward signals might be slightly different from birth. You did not decide to be bored by sports. Your brain decided for you. There's also something very interesting about identity. Sports fans often merge their identity with their team. When the team wins, they feel like winners. When the team loses, they feel personally defeated. Scientists have studied this for years. Fans use the word "we" when talking about victories. "We crushed them last night." But after a loss, the language changes. "They played terribly." This is not a coincidence. It's a psychological pattern. People protect their self-image by attaching to success and distancing from failure. People who do not follow sports rarely do this. Their sense of self does not rise and fall based on what strangers do on a field. Their confidence comes from their own actions, their own achievements, their own growth. This does not make them better people, but it does mean their emotional stability is less tied to things they cannot control. And that's a meaningful difference. Now, here's a part that might surprise you. People who avoid sports are often more comfortable being alone with their own thoughts. They don't need the constant noise and drama that sports provide. They're okay with silence. They're okay with slow weekends. They find stimulation in quieter things. A book, a conversation, a walk, a new idea. Psychologists have found that people with low interest in sports tend to score higher on something called openness. This is one of the big 5 personality traits. It means they are more curious about new experiences, more drawn to art and creativity, and more interested in abstract thinking. They are not sitting around doing nothing while everyone else watches the game. They are just doing something different, something that feeds their brain in a different way. And let's talk about emotions for a moment. A lot of people think that if you don't care about sports, you must be emotionless. That's completely wrong. Everyone has a limited amount of emotional energy. You can only care deeply about so many things at once. Sports fans spend a huge chunk of their emotional energy on games, players, seasons, and rivalries. People who skip all of that are not empty. They're just putting that energy somewhere else. maybe into their relationships, maybe into their creative work, maybe into causes they believe in. Think of it like a battery. Everyone has the same sized battery. Sports fans use a big part of theirs on games. Non-sports people use that same energy on other things. Neither is wasting it. They're just spending it differently. Here's another angle that nobody really discusses. For some people, not caring about sports is connected to how they grew up. Maybe sports were never a part of their household. Maybe their parents never watched games. Maybe they were always picked last in school and sports became associated with embarrassment instead of fun. Maybe the loud and aggressive culture around sports pushed them away. These experiences shape how your brain responds to sports forever. It's not always about brain chemistry. Sometimes it's about memory and emotion. And honestly, some people just find it boring. That's it. No deep psychological reason, no childhood trauma. They watch a game and feel nothing, the same way some people feel nothing when they look at a painting or listen to jazz. Not everything has to have a deep reason. Sometimes your brain just says no thanks and moves on. But let me tell you something that will make a lot of sense if you're someone who doesn't follow sports. Have you ever noticed that you feel more connected to your own daily life? Like you're more aware of what's happening around you? There's a reason for that. When you're not emotionally invested in games that happen 3 or 4 times a week, you have more mental space, more room to think, more room to notice, more room to be present. Sports fans often live in a cycle. Wait for the game, watch the game, talk about the game, recover from the game. Repeat. That cycle takes up a lot of mental real estate. If you remove that cycle, you suddenly have hours and hours of free attention every single week, and what you do with that attention shapes your entire life. Now, I want to address something important. There's often a wall between sports fans and non-sports fans. They genuinely do not understand each other. A sports fan thinks, how can you not care? This is the most exciting thing happening right now. And the non-fan thinks, how can you care so much? It literally does not affect your life. Both sides are right from their own perspective, and both sides are wrong to judge the other. The sports fan finds deep meaning in the narrative of a season, the underdog story, the heartbreak, the glory. It's real storytelling with real emotions. The non-fan finds that same meaning somewhere else, in a movie, in building something, in learning something new, in a deep conversation at midnight. Humans need stories. Humans need drama. Humans need something to care about. Sports is just one of 100 ways to fill that need. Let me also say this. There is a social pressure around sports that nobody really acknowledges. In many cultures, especially for men, not liking sports is seen as strange. People look at you differently. They don't know what to talk to you about. You get excluded from conversations at work. You feel like an outsider at family gatherings. This pressure is real, and it can be painful, but it doesn't mean you should fake interest. Pretending to care about something your brain does not respond to is exhausting, and it never works for long. The truth is, people who don't obsess over sports have found their own version of excitement, their own version of community, their own version of meaning. It just looks different from the outside, and because it's quieter, people assume it's less important. It's not. So if you're someone who has spent your whole life wondering why you can't get excited about the World Cup or the NBA Finals, now you know. Your brain processes reward differently. Your identity is built differently. Your emotional energy goes to different places, and your need for belonging is met through different doors. None of this makes you less human. If anything, understanding this makes you more aware of who you actually are. The next time someone looks at you like you're from another planet because you didn't watch last night's game, just smile. You're not missing out. You're just living a different version of the same human experience, and that version is perfectly fine. If this made you think, you're probably someone who notices things others miss, and that's a strength most people don't even know they have.